They say we want peace. Israel says we want peace. But what kind of peace are they talking about? They say, give us your house and no one will hurt you. Give us your land, your water, your fruits, your homes. No one will hurt you. Leave to any another country and no one will use violence. No one will use guns. This is literally the peace that they are talking about. This is literally the logic of Israel. Well, Palestinians will not leave their country. No one would do this. No one would give his house for a stranger, knocked his door and said, hey, I want this house, okay, take it. It's not the way that things go on. Palestine is not a charity.
Outside my window, and it was really terrifying. Just imagine yourself waking up in the middle of the night on the sound of gas cannon.
Now we will talk about how it all started, so watch till the end and listen carefully. Palestine went from this to this. Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire, where Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived all with each other. By the end of World War I, the Ottoman Empire ended and Palestine got colonized by Britain. As France colonized Lebanon and Syria, Britain had a plan. At that time, Zionists in Europe were calling for the establishment of an independent Jewish state because they never had one, they never had a state. Britain declares in Balfour Declaration that it's going to support Jews building homeland in the Arabic state Palestine. Jews started immigration to Palestine and the numbers of Jewish settlers started to grow, which led tensions and violence between Arab countries and Jews. This called Britain to bow out and let the UN to take over. The UN had a plan of splitting Palestine into two states, between parentheses, two states. 56.5% for Jewish Israel and 43.5% for the Arabic Palestine. The city of Jerusalem was in the Palestinian area. The city that's sacred to all of Muslims, Christians, and Jews is now a UN-controlled international zone. Jews accepted the UN partition plan and declared Israel as an independent state, whereas the neighboring Arab countries objected to the land takeover, and an Arab-Israel war began. America and Britain supported Israel in this war. So Israel was victorious, and the land is redivided into three parts. Jordan occupies West Bank and East Jerusalem. Egypt occupies Gaza, and Israel takes 78% of all Palestine, including West Jerusalem. This caused 700,000 Palestinian refugees and death of thousands of Palestinians. And the day is remembered as Al-Nakba. This war was in 1948. Now in 1967, another war between Arabs and Israeli broke out. And by the end of it, Palestine got fully occupied by Israel. There was no official peace treaty, so the settlers started to move to Gaza and West Bank, the area that's occupied by Egypt and Jordan. Of course, this led to struggle between Palestinians and the Israeli that came over, which gave rise to the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Their main goal is to liberate Palestine by any means necessary. Fighting kept going on for years, and thousands of Palestinians died.
الجلاء والسناء والبهاء في رباء والحياة والرجاء فيها أرى سالما.
And more Israelis moved to the Arab-occupied areas, which made Palestinians revolt against what's going on. Strangers taking their land. As a result, Hamas is born, a political movement determined to fight Israelis in the West Bank and Gaza. The United States, PLO, and Israel signed the OSLO agreement to divide the West Bank into 3 sections. But this created a new problem. It was never a solution, where Israel took the majority of water and agricultural lands of this rich country. Palestinians had limited access to these. Palestinians fed up of what's going on and revolted for the second time. But this time, Israel started building walls and controlled the Palestinians movement and shooting Palestinians in the streets. Israel is gradually getting rid of Palestinians over years to achieve their goal, ethnic cleansing, biggest crime against humanity. What Israel has been doing is also considered as the biggest theft ever. The land by itself has been stolen, and Hamas is the only hope for Palestinians today, the ones who are dying while trying to get their own land back. And blaming Hamas for firing rockets is as same as blaming women for punching a rapist. Every Palestinian city was once Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. Adding to that, Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood was built for Arabs by the King of Jordan Abdullah after the war in 1948. The King and UN signed that these homes will be for Arabs, and now Israel is taking these houses to break the rule as it always do. Phosphorus shells are banned internationally, but Israel used them on Palestinians last week. When Palestine is free again, many problems in the Middle East will end.